This video is about recoding a variable in jump that is categorical and turning it into a binary or 0, 1 variable instead. So to illustrate this idea, I'm going to look at the variable here, which is called ISO name, that stands for Independent Sales Organization. And if we have a look at that variable very quickly, we can see that it's a categorical variable. And here it is. And it takes on a number of categories: other, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And down here we have the frequencies of each one. So let's say I wanted to recode this variable and I wanted to call A1 and put all the other categories, that's B, C, D through to other, into the 0 level. So we'd call this recoding, and I'm going to recode it in this instance to a binary variable. Now, recoding it to a binary variable would be useful if, for example, you wanted to talk about the proportion of A's in the data set and create a confidence interval for that. So the process I'm going to use to do that is to create a new variable at the end of the spreadsheet. So I just double click at the end, and it's called column 41, but I'll give it a useful name. Let's just call it binary, because we're going to binary recode, because that's what we're about to do. So we give it a name. Now I'm going to right click on the header there and go into formula. Now the variable that I want to recode is called ISO. So I click on it there. Now I'm going to go to the conditional set of functions here. And the one that I'm going to choose is match. And when I click on match, because I have ISO already highlighted, it gives me the option to add match arguments from data. So I'm going to click on that. And then what it does for me is go through and identify all the levels of this categorical variable, and it allows me to recode them. And so I'm going to turn all the A's into 1s, and I'm going to make everything else, just going to click on them one at a time and turn them into 0s. So I mean, there are a number of ways that you can do this recoding in jump, but this is a pretty general one and useful for these what we generally call multi-level categoricals. And so you can see at this point I'm now have created, or will soon create, a new variable that takes on the value 1 for the A's and 0 for everything else. So I now click on OK, and here it is. Here's the new variable, the binary recode of the ISO variable. And if I were to have a quick look at that under distribution, it's now binary. It's been turned into 0s and 1s. 8% of them are 1s, and here's a 95% confidence interval for that proportion based off of this sample. So that's the recoding of a multi-level categorical variable into a binary variable through the match command and the formula dialog.